Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. All right, Trump's gone off the cuckoo end of the political diving board again. Over the weekend, he warned on social media that he's going to jail people who were involved in unscrupulous behavior. Surprised he even knows what that word means. In the upcoming election, all caps. When I win. Those people who, all caps, cheated will be prosecuted the full extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences so that this depravity of justice does not happen again. Please beware that the legal exposure extends to lawyers, political operatives, donors, illegal voters, and corrupt election officials. Those involved in unscrupulous behavior will be sought out, caught, and prosecuted at levels, unfortunately, never seen before in our country. Yeah. So, here we go again. In this case, basically threatening that if I'm elected, I'm going to throw you in prison if you stood against me. And his anger and fear are his main weapons for controlling people. And conservative voters tend to resonate very well with the emotions of anger and fear. Fear is what brings them into the conservative camp. Fear of change, fear of the unknown. And then anger is the response to their fear, and it energizes them to do things to remove the source that's causing their fear, which is change. They don't want change. They don't embrace change. They want to undo change. They want to go back. And that's kind of how things go. So, who's Trump messaging to? He's messaging to folks on the GOP that are speaking out against him. He's basically threatening them. And, I want to throw on the energy of what's going on with Trump that he feels the need to do this. Honestly, this screams of somebody who's understanding that the election's slipping away from them. And, with Dick Cheney, for instance, saying he's going to vote for Kamala Harris. And for Elizabeth Cheney saying that she's going to support Colin Allred in the Senate race in Texas. These are prominent conservatives who will have influence over other conservatives. Again, whether you like him or not, and most of you watching this do not like Dick Cheney, he is a leader amongst conservatives. They will follow his lead. So when Cheney is saying, I'm voting for Kamala Harris, that isn't for me or you. That's an acknowledgement to some conservatives who don't really want to vote for Donald Trump. They could say, well, if Dick Cheney's not going to vote for Donald Trump, neither am I. And maybe even worse, if Dick Cheney's going to vote for Kamala Harris, maybe I'll do that as well. Trump is seeing that. He's panicking, and he's using, what limited tools he has in his toolbox. Fear and anger and the threat of retaliation as, like the Ace of Clubs, as a hammer to bludgeon people back into line. So let's look at the energy around Trump and the state of his campaign given this announcement. We don't need to throw on if he would do it or not, because of course he would. But what I want to know is what's the status of his campaign? Because this seems to be somebody who's recognizing their campaign is dying, and he's trying to basically whip support back in. Entertainment purposes only. What do we have? 9 of Wands. It's more the same old here. No. The beatings will continue until morale improves. That's the adage that comes to mind. It's the same tired. Trump doesn't bring anything new to the table. And now he's going to use the threat of violence it's funny, if he's elected, he's going to go against people who didn't vote for him. If he's not elected, he's powerless. So I guess, if you vote for Kamala Harris, that's actually a vote for getting Trump not elected. It's funny for folks that may not have voted for Trump. It's going to actually encourage them to vote for Kamala Harris. Underneath it all is the Empress. Trump will, if he gets elected, he'll take care of you. If Kamala's elected, she'll take care of you, but she'll meet your needs and your family's needs, where Trump will take care of you in a threatening manner. So, who do you want? Who do you want? It's crossed with the Eight of Swords. You have to... The voters on the Republican side have to decide what's going to rule them. Is fear and anger going to rule them? Or are they going to cut themselves free from that fear and anger and go for something that's a more hopeful future? In the past, you got the Eight of Wands. Trump's fortunes have changed so quickly. I mean, after the Pew Pew incident and Biden stepping down, it's just been a downward trajectory for him. For those who haven't seen the video, I did a video both on my channel and on the Twin Tarot with Gary channel, watching the stock price for the DJT, the Donald J. Trump stock, formerly Truth Social, and its downward trajectory. A lot of speculation. It had an intraday high of 70 something a share, and currently it's about under $18 a share. I record this on Sunday, September 8th. Obviously the markets aren't open, but that's what it closed on Friday. And in the videos, it's almost like a really interesting poll for people that have financial interest in Donald Trump. True Social stock price is like equivalent of a poll and how people think he's going to do in the election. And we're just seeing a steady downward trend of that stock price. It was at $30 a share before the Pew Pew incident. It went up to $40 a share right after that. The next trading day was up to $40 a share as people got behind Donald Trump. After that, it went back down to 30, it went down to 20, and now it's below 20. The people with money understand that this stock has no upside potential beyond the financials. For that matter, Trump has no upside potential. Because if they thought Trump was going to be the president, they wouldn't be selling off because it's going to help the stock price. This is why presidents aren't supposed to own companies. Current situation with regards to the Trump campaign, 4 cups, and the threats that he's making here. The voters aren't getting anything that they like. They get to serve the same old stuff. Trump is getting information that he doesn't like, and he needs to do something about it. So he's threatening to take big action. There's going to be big penalties if you don't do what I tell you to. But what he's not realizing is that he's also forcing people to make big value choices here. I can vote for Trump, and if he wins, I may or may not be sent to prison. How do I protect myself? If I vote for Harris, Trump's likelihood of being in office is less. Now, 100% I'll go, I'll be retributed against. But what's worse? If Trump's not in power, I have no fear of that. Lesson to be learned is the Truth card, the Sun card coming out. Truth is being exposed on Trump more and more. And I think his campaign is spiraling down. 3 of Coins. There might even be talk of replacing him. I've read on that before. Trump's threats could cause people to rethink, but I think it just is going to cause people to publicly support him, but privately work against him. But this could also be the GOP looking at Trump's campaign and realizing that this is a sinking ship and they need to dump him. Now, if they dump Trump, they have lost the presidential election. MAGA likely won't show up and vote because they only vote for Trump. And you'd have to have a write-in candidate. And you better spell the name of the president and the vice president correctly, or else it's not going to count. That's That's what happens when you appeal to the lower educated, the lower IQ portion of the voting electorate. Writing candidates better be simple. All right, but not to insult people, but that's just kind of how the demographics work out. But the GOP, they don't. This election is lost. This election is a loss to them. Their best hope is to win the Senate, because if they win the Senate, they can clog up the government. If Harris and Walz win, and the Democrats take the House, if the Republicans can control the Senate, they can throttle anything that the House passes. They can throttle and just not bring to the floor. Biden wants to put Supreme Court justices on because Thomas and Alito retire. They can just not do their job. They don't have to appoint judges. They can just choke everything out. Everything goes to the Senate and dies. And then you really can't do anything for another 2 years. And hope that you hold the Senate for those 2 years so that you have a chance to get the presidency back. And then, you can fill in all those positions. Yeah, all they can do is obstruct. Which then now leads to how will conservative voters, not MAGA voters, how will conservative voters react to this threat? For Carter. How will conservative voters react to this threat? Justice card. Wheel of Fortune. All these major arcana. Hanged Man. Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Swords. How are they going to react? You've got, the Justice card with the Queen of Swords underneath. You have to make a hard choice. Black or white. And I honestly think, between all these court cases that we're not getting resolution to, maybe we'll see something on the January 6th case. Maybe we won't. This can't be the New York criminal trial now because Merchan's delayed it. So maybe some Jan 6 stuff. But, with Dick Cheney coming out and saying, I'm voting for Kamala, basically, so can you. People are going to look at things differently. It's a time for change. And we have to vote our values or protect our values right now. All these major there are going to be Republicans that vote for Democrats. Just this one time. Because, they're following leadership, telling them what to do. Yeah, this assignment isn't lost on all Republicans. Again, in case you're concerned, well, what if Trump wins? Trump, even when Nikki Haley dropped out of the race, there were 20% of the Republican votes that were voting for Nikki Haley, even though she was no longer a viable candidate. And those are protest votes. How many of those protest votes are actually never Trumpers versus folks that just, I'm not going to vote for Trump in the primary because screw him, but they may change their mind during the general. It probably won't be all of them. There'll probably be a subset. But when you have Republican leadership of previous administrations, guiding you to, encouraging you to stand up to the Republican candidate, that Three of Coins is also voter suppression, but it's Republican voter suppression. Yeah, other readers see it being a close election. I just can't intellectually see that. It's got all the hallmarks of a blue wave. Because now you're literally, Dick Cheney is telling people to vote for Kamala Harris on the GOP side. And they may take him up on it. They may just decide to stay home. And they won't vote red down the ballot. That's got to help Democratic senators, House members, governors, state legislatures, state Senate, the whole bit. Give me just a 4-carder on Trump. Why is Trump responding so angrily? What's going on? Is he a man on a sinking ship here? Come on down. Four of coin. Yeah, he's desperately trying to hold on to his 40%. Any tactic, whatever. His freedom depends on being reelected. But he's reaping what he's sown. He's done this to himself. Yeah, he's totally done this to himself. This is his own corrupt behavior. Evil circles upon itself and consumes itself. And that's what's happening here. Gone are the days of the Republicans just voting for the Republicans. People are leaving that because Trump is just he's corrupt. He's a corrupt individual, and he's getting what he deserves. He's a lifetime of corruption, a lifetime of cheating on people, cheating on money. This is like karma coming back for Trump. He is desperately trying to hold on, and he's watching it slip through his fingers. It's being given away. He doesn't have the support that he's had before. One last one, just because I'm curious and it sort of fits the theme here. Will there be a blue wave? Will there be a blue wave? And a part of this is probably because I live in California and I live in the Bay Area. And it's very, cosmopolitan. It's a highly educated area. It's very much a melting pot of races and cultures. Very open-minded, liberal, if you will. So I could very well be biased because this is what I see in my neighborhood, in my county, in my region. Go to Central California where it's rural, and you'll see something very different, politics-wise. Will there be a blue wave in the House and Senate? Will there be a blue wave in the House and Senate? Is that what's going on here? A little four-carder. We'll see. Nine of Coins. I do think this is going to be the Kamala effect. Lover's card. Bringing people in. Integrity. Temperance. The Moon card. It's the Kamala factor. We don't fully know what's going to happen with it. It's still kind of a mystery. But I think it's going to base totally on Kamala Harris and her integrity. Now, people are questioning her integrity, but it's also women voters too, right? Not only just Kamala, but women voters having their rights taken away. Women will decide this. They're kind of a wild card. And it just seems to me that women voters are... The thing with the polls and stuff like that, it doesn't make sense. You can't take away one of the biggest voting blocks in the country's rights and expect there to be no consequence for this. There are going to be huge consequences for this. People coming together and detoxifying. To me, that's voting Democrat. It's getting MAGA out of there. I'm honest to God, there's a blue wave coming. Women voters and Kamala Harris's messaging is going to bring that blue wave. I had to stop listening to other intuitives that say, oh, it's going to be close. No, it's not. I don't think it is. I'm going to be disappointed if it is at this point. It's not. It's not going to be close. Maybe the overall numbers are close, but it would be like taking all these states that would normally vote red and pushing them right up to the limit, where the Democrat might normally lose 55 to 45. They lose, 50.5 to 49.5. They're up 5 points, 4.5 points, but they needed to be 5.5 points to win. It could be something like that, but I don't think so. The vibe I'm getting is there's a transformation going on, and it's going to be led by women and Kamala Harris's optimism, and it's going to drive a blue wave. So why is Trump freaking the heck out? Because he's watching his life spiral down. And he's trying to use fear and anger and intimidation to get people in line. It's not going to work. There's too many forces against him now. Again, when Dick Cheney's telling conservatives to vote for Kamala Harris, a Democrat, for the President of the United States, Trump's lost the narrative. He has totally lost the narrative. All he can hope to do is try and minimize Dick Cheney's importance to conservative voters. And all I can say is good luck with that. You know, Cheney's no Ronald Reagan type of thing, but the people who are truly, truly conservative, they love Cheney. And they'll probably listen. I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but on top of that, I hope you did find it insightful looking behind the scenes and trying to understand the meaning behind things that are going on in the news. Anyways, thank you again for your support, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.